Hey folks, this is Best in Slot. Welcome back to our Jurassic World Dominion coverage. In today's video, we've got 4 brand new images to take a look at, coming to us courtesy of Empire Magazine. Someone got hold of the physical magazine. This is what physical looks like. Someone got hold of the physical magazine and scanned in some images, and they've just been making the rounds on Twitter recently. I don't know who originally posted the images, could not find that for the life of me. But shout out to them, whoever you are out there. You're a beautiful soul. So we're going to take a look at those 4 images. We're going to get a good look at some dinosaurs. We're going to see some interesting story implications as well. And of course, a glimpse of our characters. So let's get started. The first image is probably the least interesting of the bunch. We can see Maisie, Alan and Owen hanging around in what I'm assuming is that Biosyn facility in what we now know is referred to as Biosyn Valley. That was mentioned in the Empire article, and they seem to be exploring some sort of processing facility. Now we know that Biosyn, what they've been working on is actually pharmaceuticals, or at least that's what they're pretending to do in a way. Pharmaceuticals attached to these dinosaurs, not attached to, that'd be weird, you know. There's a Parasaurolophus walking past with aspirin stapled to its side. No, but you know, pharmaceuticals derived from dinosaurs maybe, and this looks like the kind of facility where that could maybe be the case with all this machinery and metallic nonsense going on in the background. It kind of looks a little bit like a forge as well. The interesting thing, of course, here is that Alan and Maisie are both doing the classic Owen hand out, stretched, don't eat me kind of pose, the control pose he uses on the Raptors, whereas Owen himself is, you know, ready to shoot someone. They're looking down, so whatever they're looking at, I would suggest is not a massive dinosaur. This may well just be Blue, you know, and she's again lost and afraid, and she's doing her own thing. Or it could be the Pyro Raptor, perhaps. This is how the Pyro Raptor is going to be introduced into this sort of scenario. We've seen it, of course, in that snowier, tundra-esque sort of environment, but maybe we're going to see it here at Biosyn Valley as well. It could be any number of dinosaurs. But the fact that they're trying the hand thing at least suggests it's a dinosaur they are somewhat familiar with. Alan looks a little spooked. Owen looks sort of ready to go. Maisie doesn't look scared per se. She looks like she's, you know, equipped for the situation. Anyway, as I said, that was probably the least interesting in terms of new stuff. This next one, however, is very interesting. We have what looks to be an Allosaurus fighting ring. It is. Those are small, young Allosaurids. They look immensely like the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Allosaurus already, but just sort of scaled down into baby size, or like young adult size, or whatever you want to call it. But it's an interesting scene. So this is clearly like a dinosaur equivalent of cockfighting, which again I feel like would be a thing. I feel like you could take most of the horrible things people do with real world animals and you could apply it to dinosaurs if dinosaurs came back in this kind of fashion. Cockfighting is technically already dinosaur fighting, but you know what I mean. I could see this definitely being a thing. The scene around them is rather interesting, with the guys in this sort of military armor. We've got all like camo jackets and stuff like that. The lights. It's got a, I don't know if I'm crazy, it's got like a Star Wars kind of vibe. It feels like a Star Wars cantina scene or something like that. You know, replace these 2 Allosauruses with Allosauropods with, you know, like some weird little Star Wars aliens, and I could see this absolutely bit for bit in Star Wars. But yeah, very interesting. We're going to see these dinosaurs being used in a multitude of different varieties. Based on the stone and the coloration, I would suggest this is Malta. Maybe this is the reason they go to Malta in the first place. This is, you know, they're working with the DFW, who may well be working with Biosyn, who knows. But they're working with the DFW, and we can even see in the top left it says something market. What's that say? If anyone can figure out what that means, let me know. It's the something market. You know, they go there to stop these fighting rinks or something like that to try to save the animals, and that's when Biosyn gets involved with the, you know, we see the Carnotaurus and the adult Allosaurus, and of course we see the Atrociraptors as well. A couple more images left to go though. We're going to see Dr. Wu here in his very fashionable Jurassic World Dominion form with the long hair and the sweater jumper sort of thing. It's an absolute vibe, to say the least. He looks kind of like my uncle. So Dr. Wu there, but the interesting thing, of course, about this Dr. Wu scene is not Dr. Wu himself, although he's a lovely, lovely man. It's the locust on the table. This genetically modified, bizarre-looking, monstrous Starship Troopers-esque locust, which is clearly being dissected on the table. And then you can see already, just design-wise, it's got these massive wings. It's all spiky and gurg. It's modified to look fairly terrifying because it's Jurassic World and everything needs a few spikes on it after all. So I think this We know that Wu's going to take a protagonistic role in the film, or we're assuming that's what's going to happen. You know, he's leaning more in that. He's leaning away from being antagonistic towards being protagonistic. He's going to be on the side of our heroes as far as we know, as based on what we've seen. And I'm assuming they've just captured a locust. Maybe Ellie Sattler brought it to him or something like that. They're dissecting it, figuring out how it ticks, trying to figure out what it is that Biosyn is actually up to. You could interpret this as Wu himself working on the locust as well, but given that they seem to be dissecting it and tearing it apart, and given that we know Wu's role is leaning in a better direction, a more loving direction, it does seem likely that they've managed to get hold of one of these monstrosities and they're dissecting it to figure out how exactly it's going to work and maybe what they can do to stop it. And I do feel like stopping Biosyn's locust plan, their plan to control food sources and stuff like that, I feel like that's going to be the crux of the film. And then there's going to be also the rescuing the dinosaurs and stuff like that, and those two are going to kind of run in tandem with each other. But the protagonist's main goal will be to contain this locust invasion, or I need a word for when you send something for an invasion. Attack! Right, anyways, one more still to go then. We've got Owen and the Pyro Raptor. And this is why you shouldn't take everything out of context, or you shouldn't freak out too much about images we get online. So the internet's gone a little bit mad over the last week with this Pyro Raptor design based on the animatronic and the Fangoria article, and it looked like a disaster. It really did. It was an ugly Pyroraptor animatronic. It looked so bad. Obviously there's still things people would change, but I will say the style of the Pyroraptor here looks demonstrably better than it looked in that article. The Pyroraptor actually looks pretty cool here. This is the most I've ever liked the Pyroraptor, I think, in terms of the head style and stuff like that. Yeah, there's still changes people would make, but it definitely looks a lot better here than it ever looked back in the animatronic sort of version. Which is interesting though, because this seems to be a production still, which would suggest that this is still the animatronic version. So maybe it was just bad lighting, maybe it was an old version. I don't really know. A lot of those animatronics were clearly not finished, because we saw the Microceratops, for example, didn't have a beak attached and stuff like that. Had this weird thing going on with its mouth. So not really sure what else to say with that, but other than the Pyroraptor looks really cool. Like, it looks really good, and that's a good sign for the film. We want these feathered dinosaurs to be as impressive as possible. And I still have things to say about this topic. I was going to do a video discussing it and breaking it down, because there's been a lot of back and forth drama over the last couple of weeks, because of course there is. It's the internet, and I've been partaking, don't get me wrong. But either way, Pyroraptor looks really cool here. Owen clearly going to have contact with the Pyroraptor. We already knew that already. Him and Wanda Wise's character, who I keep forgetting the name of, are going to battle the Pyroraptor in that tundra Siberian environment, or whatever it is. We actually have one more bonus image that just popped up whilst I was actually editing this video, so post-recording here. This is the Dreadnoughtus as confirmed by the article, and it seems to be in North America. It seems to be in a DFW camp sort of area, based on the background, based on the trees, based on the mountains and stuff like that. And just to further confirm that, if you look at the top middle of this image, you'll see like a little mechanical doohickey. It's a drone, or it's a helicopter, or it's a little something something. Apparently there's another image which shows it very clearly being a helicopter. It's just they're all coming to us from various sources and in different forms, but very, very cool. So this is the Dreadnoughtus in a modern environment, which of course we did not know was going to be a thing at all. We've seen it in the prologue. It's a fantastic looking dinosaur design. All the best ones are in the prologue after all. And it's really cool to see that some of them at least are going to make it into the film proper, because as far as we know, quite a lot of the prologue is probably getting cut from the film, if not almost entirely. So that's really, really good news. Very excited to see the Dreadnoughtus in the actual film itself, even if it's just background, even if it's just there for a few scenes. It's a beautiful dinosaur, and the more of those we get into the actual main film, the better in some ways. I'm at that point now just thinking, you know what, just chuck every dinosaur. Just give me all the dinosaurs. That's all I really need now. That'll do. But yeah, very cool. I imagine maybe this is a setting scene or something. You know, the helicopter swoops overhead. It's taking a look at this DFW sanctuary, the reserve where these dinosaurs are being held. I think there's some dodgy stuff going on there maybe, but still very excited to see this Dreadnoughtus in both environments. And that's it. Those were our 4 images from Empire magazine. Some exciting stuff. A great look at the Pyroraptor. It really does. I'm just looking at it now. It looks really good. The locust up close as well. Really interesting to see how monstrous they've made that thing. Of course, this Allosaurus fighting ring, and wherever the fourth one is, I've got rid of it. Oh, in the building. So things are heating up a little bit in the prep for Jurassic World Dominion. Of course, it's not really that far away. It's less than 2 months or something, I believe. April, May. It's less than 2 months until Dominion comes out, so I'm expecting another trailer relatively soon. Obviously, all the toy lines are now starting to hit the shelves, stuff like that. Lots of things are happening. And we'll try to keep you up to date on the major things. There's been a lot of stuff sort of popping up here and there, lots of little images, but nothing I felt was like video worthy until today. This is definitely the first big news in a little while. Hope you've enjoyed. Let me know what you think down below. Speculate about Wu and the Locust and the Pyro Raptor and this Allosaurus fighting ring and all this kind of jazz. Let me know what you think down there. And that's about it from me. Have a lovely, is it Wednesday? Let me check what day it is. It's Wednesday. Have a lovely Wednesday. I'll see you lovely folks next time. Cheers, much love, as always. Bye-bye.
Houston, if you're ready, we'll maneuver.